Hello, everyone. Let me come on. Hello, hello, hello. Wait, where's the music? Music? Oh, there it is. Hello. Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? Also, let me get on the actual stream so I can actually see everyone in the chat. Didn't have that pulled up because I'm a professional. Hello, Homebody. Hello, B. Parker. Black Cover, Miranda, Admiral Paco, Rocket Dave, the Xenochrist, Crystal Wright, Knit and Crochet Tiger, Reedem 10, Lewis Darden, Petite Flower, Adrenaline, and I am not feeling sick today. I am not feeling immediately sick as soon as I started talking. That is a win. I'm already doing better than last week. Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing this fine after Thursday? Well, for me, Thursday afternoon. Something else for the rest of you, I'm sure. Yay, I know. Yeah, not feeling sick. Yeah, last week, I mean, I streamed on Saturday, so you all knew I was still alive. But, like, yeah, last Thursday when I did the stream, I just, like, started talking. I was like, nope, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Oh no, Admiral Paco, I'm sorry that you're sick. Sending you a heart, Admiral Paco. Also, heart Tick Dragon 1, Tiki Dragon. I thought you said Tick. I missed the other eye. I called you Tick Dragon. Tiki Dragon 1, heart to you. Good evening, Des. Was hoping you had my SC from the last stream. Had my SC. SC. Oh, super chat. Oh, I'm so sorry, Tiki Dragon. No, I forgot your last super chat. I'm so sorry. If you want to say it again, what it was, Tiki Dragon, let me know, and I'm happy to answer it for you. Apologies. Yeah, we had if anyone missed it, on Saturday night I was playing some Bloodborne for the first time and failing badly. I've gotten further. I beat the first boss, but I also have Aeronok on. And Aeronok's always great to have a chat, but also because we get talking, I sometimes miss super chat. So apologies if I missed your super chat. But before we get too much further in the stream, I do wish to say welcome everybody to my weekly live stream where for about an hour or so, I talk about just whatever you all want to talk about. I just sort of rant about topics that you are curious about or want me to just ramble on for a while about. Super chats do get hearts, and I do answer super chats first just because super chats do help pay the bills, and this is my job. But beyond that, I try to just hang out with everybody and have a good time for an hour, and we just talk about what everyone else is saying. So, Miranda, how did your meeting go, Jessie? No worries if you can't talk about it. I can't talk about it yet. I'll just say this, it went tepidly positive. It was not the outcome exactly that I was like, yeah, this would be the perfect outcome, but it was a good outcome. So I'll leave it at that. It's just a project that I am hoping to get off the ground, and I'll tell you all more about it once I can say more firmer things on it, but it is something cool that I'm hoping to find people that would be interested in helping me make. So I'll leave it at that for now. Let's see. Hail Satan, hail Cobra, hail the Ripiverse, hail Jessie Gender. We hail Satan here. We do. Less on Cobras. Cobra Kai. Well, yeah, Cobra Kai is a bad thing. Though I like the show Cobra Kai. It's great. It's cheesy 80s nonsense. Chloe, heart to you says, does Jennifer have a Furiosa that makes Beckett, Fursona that makes Beckett uncomfortable? We're talking about Jennifer on Star Trek Lower Decks, and her girlfriend Mariner. Possibly? Because they do have that in episode, was it 3? You get to see, like, her fear is like a werewolf version of Jennifer. There's other things, too, in that you could dissect. But I could definitely be like, oh, she's, maybe Mariner has a little bit of internalized anti-furry in her. Or is, like, curious about it, but a little bit strained, a little bit fearful of it. That'd be an interesting read of that, Chloe. It's not what I would have immediately reached for, but I let's just say there is textual evidence for your case. I will put it that way. Andrew, of course I love your cat. I've never met your cat, but I love your cat. Your cat is wonderful. I adore your cat. Hi, Jessie. I'm here with my mom. We just had a conversation about top surgery. You gave me some confidence to talk to her. Oh, Mama Crane, I appreciate that. Sending love to you and your mother. Yeah, top surgery. I mean, for me, I don't know what type of top surgery you're getting, whether it's to remove breasts or to add breasts. I mean, I got what I would call a top surgery with mine. And it really made me, I'm very pleased with the result, I should say. And it was one that I thought about, I won't overtell someone's story, but I there was a friend of mine who is a trans woman, as well, like me, who I was close to, who we were both kind of considering getting the same surgeries at the same time. We both were thinking about getting breast surgery, and she ultimately decided not to, and I ultimately decided to. And I think that both of those are valid decisions. Like, she had been on hormones, and while she wished her breasts were a little bit bigger in terms of being on hormones, she was not displeased with it, and she didn't feel like she wanted to go through surgery to make them bigger. For me, I did. Because I felt like, for me, personally, I feel like they would fit my frame better and also just fit how I want to look better, and make me just feel happier in my body. And I think both are entirely valid experiences of being trans. And I think that it's a good conversation to have. Again, it's something that we always discuss here on, that I like to put here. It's like, I do think that there are medical things that can be part of a trans experience, but not every single thing has to be part of the trans experience, nor does any medical stuff have to be part of the trans experience. So I think it's a good conversation to begin with. But the issue is that we don't allow people to have the conversation in the first place. That it should be a conversation that we have openly and not shamefully or hidden away or don't wish to discuss. So I'm very glad that you and your mom are talking about it. And if it's something that you want, I'm very excited for you, and I really hope that it's you're able to pursue it and get it, and it gives you all the joy that mine gave me. So yeah, hell yeah. Let's see. What else did someone say? Yes, she saw Andor and did a review of episode 1 through 3. Talking about Andor? Can we talk about Andor? I'm going to talk about Andor for a hot second here. I legitimately love Star Wars Andor. It's only 3 episodes, and knowing Disney and how many Disney Plus TV shows between Marvel and Star Wars have fallen off the edge towards the end, it could disappoint me going forward. But honestly, from what I have seen and a lot of the things that I think that the series is doing, I really think that Star Wars Andor has the potential to be the best show because, and I'm going to rant about this for a hot second because I want to sell this show to you, and why, if you're a Star Wars fan who also happens to politically align with me, if I may put some politics into your science fiction, gasp, how dare I do that on this channel, why Star Wars Andor might be something that you might want to put on your radar, because here's the thing. My issue with Star Wars recently, and there might be an essay that I do on this, so that you might be getting a peek behind an essay that I'm going to do on Star Wars Andor, is Star Wars as a franchise initially started out as a very political message. The first movie, as George Lucas himself said, was meant to equate to the Viet Cong fighting against the big bad empire, the oppressors sort of thing. And so there was always, and while that was sort of the thing that he had in mind, it was meant to be more of a film about this idea of rebellion and pushing back against fascist empires and authoritarian empires. That's the initial concept of the series, right? And for the most part, all of those movies kept that spirit throughout its time, even though they were studio films. Studio films tends to note those things to death, but they, for the most part, kept that message fairly strong. Even going into the prequels, we could talk about how the prequels were executed poorly, and they definitely were not executed Order 66 well. They're very flawed movies, but the concept of them is about showcasing a democracy, as Obi-Wan would say, CRPR, thank you so much, heart to you, falling into fascism, right? And democracy falls into fascism in ways that are eerily resonant with how we think about things today, with just the way the United States has been grappling and fighting with fascism and authoritarianism in things like the Republican Party and Donald Trump and things like that. And it just so clearly shows how societies fall into that. What is the line Padme says? This is how democracy dies, with thunderous applause, cheering on for a dictator taking hold of power. Hell yeah. So yeah, exactly. Admiral Paco says the concept of the prequels is fantastic, the execution not so much. So there's always been this subversive edge to Star Wars in terms of the politics and the message that it had to say. Cut to Disney. Disney, big giant mega corporation, and the message when a lot of the time when you have big corporations taking on franchises like this, the message that ultimately becomes is wanting to reaffirm the status quo. Not even just like politically, like even just like just them wanting to regurgitate the same stories over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Disney doesn't want Star Wars to be something new to push the boundaries. They want to make Star Wars over and over and over again so that it prints money because they know it makes money. Which is how you got the Star Wars sequel trilogy, which was just essentially, with The Last Jedi trying to throw a wrench in the works, but essentially just being a repetition of the original trilogy, the greatest hits. And because of that, like, the controversy surrounding The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, and between those two movies, no one being pleased, you get where Disney has been right now, is the constant regurgitation of prequels and narrative gap filling. Like, we're going to get an Obi-Wan prequel. We're going to get a this prequel sort of thing. We're going to get a Boba Fett story. It's all like tied to legacy characters and like eras of the show that we already knew. Even The Mandalorian, which I think is the most like boundary pushing of that, is still set in between 6 and 7. An era that's not pushing the narrative forward anywhere, but still in between movies. And also is featuring a lot of cameos by a bunch of different characters like Ahsoka, Luke, and things like that. So Mandalorian, when it stands on its own, I think is great. When it is doing these sort of like here's the next cameo bit, I think it kind of, not bad, but falls flat. And sorry I'm ranting about this, but I just want to get this out because I've just been thinking about it. And sending you love too, NCC 1701, Chris. So because of that, it's just Disney just wanting to reaffirm this status quo in order to like keep making money and to not take risks of anything. And that's not necessarily a knock against the creativity within these shows. I have generally found these shows to be okay to mid for the most part. Nothing knocking my socks off. And that just speaks to like part of the intent, part of like the creatives behind it. But also I think a lot of these studios having a lot of notes on what you can say and do with these characters. Like when you have a character like Obi-Wan, some executive at Disney is going to have a lot of notes on how you can treat Obi-Wan, what you can do with Obi-Wan, where Obi-Wan's allowed to be in his story. Like it just has all these narrative notes that you have to hit with him that some executive is going to have a list of notes for. The reason I say all this is cut to Star Wars Andor. On its face, it is a show that is still doing that prequel thing, where it's in between 3 and 4. And that is certainly doing the prequel era thing that sort of fits the Disney mandate. And it features a character that we've seen before with Andor. He's appeared in Rogue One, so people have some awareness of him, right? So that's how the show gets greenlit. But then you have, I think it's Tony Gilroy come in, who is this like writer who's written things like Michael Crichton and things like that, who has no intention of like doing this nostalgia stuff. But also, it's a show that because it's a character that people care less about, I think that Disney just has less notes for that character, and thus the show is allowed to be a little bit more subversive in the story it's telling, because Disney has less like stakes in the pot, I guess is the phrase that I'm going to use. And thus, having watched the first 3 episodes of the show so far, I find it to be one of the most politically subversive and interesting shows that I've seen. Not perfect by any means, but you have a lead character, Andor, who is falling into the rebellion, but he's just like a guy who's part of the working class and is just a messy dude who's lived in these sort of fascist worlds. The villain of the series, I'm not going to spoil the show for you, but the villain of the series is a like a corpo cop dude who's just taking his job too seriously. It's not even in the Empire, but it's showcasing the connection between like corporatization and authoritarian systems as well, and how like it's just about like and he's just like a middle manager. He's just a middle manager who just takes his authority way too seriously. And how the show is about like these working class people. It's quite literally working class. So you have people like working in the mines and the solidarity that they show with each other, working in these mines, working together to push back against these mediocre middle manager people just using their authority because they're going to wield any piece of power that they have, even though they're mediocre men. I mean, quite literally, the villain of the show is like, they quite clearly have a scene where he's just like, yeah, this dude kind of sucks at his job, even though he loves to like hold on to it with an iron fist. And so it's just a fascinating show because I think because it is about a character that Disney cares less about, they're able to push the boundaries a little bit more with what Star Wars has always tried to be and say. It should have been a show about rebellion, about how the indignities that people feel in authoritarian and fascist regimes, people will push back and fight for that. And the fact that it's not being told as like legends, it's not dealing with like the Luke Skywalker characters, it's allowed to be a little bit more subversive and a little bit messy, and showcase the messiness of things like this. And so, thank you for allowing me that rant. But that's my thing on Star Wars Andor. Do I expect Star Wars Andor to be the most politically subversive and like radical TV show ever? No, it's a Star Wars show made by Disney. It's not going to be. But I think it has the potential to be the best Star Wars thing made by Disney. So take for that what you will. Thank you for that rant. For listening to that rant, I should say. Heart to you, my friends. Hopefully that was interesting. I apologize if no one cared about that. But yes, I see some Bonnie Bevan. Heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. Mwah, you are lovely and I appreciate you. An R2-D2 origin story, Read M10. I would be here for the R2-D2 origin story as long as they translate R2-D2 and he just swears like a sailor the entire show. If they do that, I'm here for it. I'm so here for that show. Catching in. I'm having a really tough time, Cappuccino Crafts. Parents' health, getting ready for loss of my one remaining parent. Could use some virtual... Oh, Cappuccino Crafts, I'm sending you heart. Can we all send some heart to Cappuccino? Sending you love, my friend. I'm so sorry. That sucks. I know that's got to be rough. Sending you all the love. I won't dwell on it because I'm sure you want to not focus on that, but I'm sending you love, Cappuccino Crafts. Sending you love, my friend. Let's see. Which is why Rogue One was a better film. Albert says, which is why Rogue One was a better film than others that use familiar. Exactly. They were allowed to do more subversive things. I still have issues with Rogue One, and Rogue One did presage a lot of issues that I have with modern Star Wars, namely like the resurrecting of like legacy characters. And the fact that it needed to be like a direct prequel that tied right into the other movies. But even within that, they were allowed to tell that more subversive story by focusing on characters that people didn't care about as much. So within a studio-mandated Disney film, they were able to go as far as I think they were able to at that, especially at that time, to make that film. So yeah, I agree. I think Rogue One is probably the best or one of the better films in Disney Star Wars era. I would say it is. There's parts of The Last Jedi that I like more than Rogue One, but I think there are elements of The Last Jedi that I hate a lot more than Rogue One. So it averages out to be not as good as Rogue One, whereas like there are issues that I have with Rogue One, but overall there's nothing that like I hate in it. Some things I think are indicative of larger issues that would be coming down the line, but as itself, I think it's a much stronger film overall. So I think it's the best, or I would argue that it's the best. I could see someone making a fight for The Last Jedi, but I personally have things that I really despise about that movie, even though there are things that I really love about it, that I think I would probably just argue for Rogue One a little bit more. But I could see someone making the argument either way. Let's see. Michael Hainline, apologies if I said your name wrong. Heart to you, my friend. He said, if you made a new character on Star Trek Lower Decks, what would it be? I mean, it would be me. A character that I could voice, and that someone would let me be on the show. No. I mean, that's what I would honestly love. But if I really had to make, like, if I was already a writer on the show and they asked me to like create a character on Lower Decks, what I would actually do, if I was writing Lower Decks right now, what I would actually do is I would allow one of our characters to actually get promoted, be it Boimler or Mariner or be it any of the four. Like promote one of our characters to lieutenant on the show, and then introduce a new younger character who becomes that character's protege. So like I would honestly probably, if I was doing one, I'd either promote Tendi or Boimler. Boimler would make the most sense given that's what his arc has been on. But I could also see Tendi getting promoted too. But I would probably promote Boimler to lieutenant, and then have a character come in who takes Boimler's place as part of the Lower Decker crew, who is basically Boimler kind of makes his protege, and he has to learn how to be a teacher, how to be a leader, at the same time as being still someone in the lower decks rank. Like, he's still not like captain level person. So he still has to learn, but he also has to learn to be a protege. So that's what I would do if I was creating a character. Who that character would be, I think you could do a bunch of different things with them. I mean, personally, if I was creating someone, I would make a transgender character or a non-binary character. That would be who they were. I would probably make a non-binary character who would come in, but that's my biases. And have them be like, an Andorian would be interesting, though we already have Jennifer. Who else would I would have them probably have like, so they wouldn't just be a human, or at least not like just a regular human. Trying to think who would be an interesting alien to like bring in. Klingon's been done a lot. Trill has been done a lot. You could do a Trill. That might be interesting. Because you haven't had like a Trill main character in Lower Decks. Debatably a Trill. Maybe again I'm biased in that, but there hasn't been like a Trill main character in modern. Well, no, that's wrong. There's Gray. Gray's a Trill main character who's been a good Trill character. I don't know. I'd have to think about that, but that would be the concept that I would go with for like where I would place the character. Betazoid would be interesting. Rogue Borg. You could do a Rogue Borg, but that might end up being reiterative of 7 to 9 or Rutherford as a character. I think they would touch upon the same territory, especially Rutherford. So I wouldn't do a Rogue Borg necessarily. Could just create a whole new alien and do something fun with it. Ooh. Could also do a Kelpian. That would actually be an interesting choice. Do a Kelpian in Lower Decks era. You just have to be careful not to be reiterative of Saru. That would be an interesting one. Yeah, I'd have to think on it, but that would be my basic. That's my basic pitch for a character. Lily Hazel's Eyes, heart to you, my friend. You said, any thoughts on Jessica Jones? My recent obsession. I love Jessica Jones. I think it's a great show, especially the first season. The Jessica Jones as a series, I think, suffered from the same problem that all the Netflix Marvel shows and a lot of Netflix shows in general faced, in that it had too many episodes. I think it was a series that needed less episodes every single season. Instead of like, what would they give it, 10 or 13? I would have made it 8 or something, because they were paced terribly, and that was a problem across all the Netflix shows. Even Daredevil, which I think is the best of them all. Season 1, I think, is fantastic, though. David Tennant is a great villain, and it's a great meditation on, like, PTSD and coming to face your abuser and trying to get, like, an abuser to take accountability, but ultimately never, the fact that this man is never going to, because everything's sort of handed to him on a silver platter, and he never has to face that accountability. I think that first season is amazing in that sense, and ultimately being like, yeah, no, fuck him. If he's not going to take accountability, fuck him. You know, season 2, I thought I like the concept, but ultimately, again, badly paced and didn't find it interesting. Season 3, I thought worked well. It was not as good as season 1, but I thought the villain was at least decently interesting in that season. It's like this serial killer that she's after, and played a little bit better. But yeah, ultimately, I think the show like was great in season 1, like some of the best superhero stuff you're ever gonna watch in season 1 of Jessica Jones. Season 2, meh, interesting ideas. I love the idea of like talking about trauma and how cycles of trauma exist, especially for women. How like a lot of the trauma her mother faced was just continue the cycle of trauma to Jessica. But ultimately, I don't think it worked too terribly well. As like an interesting narrative. And then season 3 was better, but not like great by any means. But it was better. I liked the villain. I thought the villain was interesting, but not David Tennant level interesting. I mean, once you have David Tennant, you're not gonna beat it. You know, David Tennant's like the best villain you could do. So yeah. Let's see, catching up here. Tiki Dragon, sorry. What's your super chat? Super chat, Tiki Dragon, please. What's your super chat, Tiki Dragon? I'm on the lookout for it. Tiki Dragon, Lou started, no, the BSU after the one that cut. That's the one I sent in super chat, wasn't read. Tiki chat, what was your super chat? You don't just say it. Whatever your next, Tiki chat, whatever your next message is, let me know, because I'll respond to it. I'm looking for it right now. Ooh, a Zindi Owen, that would be an interesting one. Ooh. My impulse would say a Zindi Reptilian. I would love to do a Zindi Reptilian or a Zindi Aquatic, but that might be too difficult. You could put a Zindi Aquatic in the Cetacean Ops. That would be interesting. But I would probably say A Zindi Reptilian would be a really interesting character to try to make sympathetic. I would like that, actually. I love it. The chat was lost in the stream that was cut short. No, I'm saying Tiki Dragon, whatever your question was, put it now. Put it in the chat right now. Whatever super chat that you meant to put in the last stream or didn't get out there, put it now and I'll read it. I'll be happy to read it right now. So whatever your next question is, Tiki Chat, just let me know and I'll totally... Or Tiki Dragon, why... Yeah, Tiki Dragon. Whatever question you want me to answer, just put it in the next one. I'll read it as if it's a super chat. Just let me know. What else does anyone else want to talk about? Today, my friend told me I've been having feelings that I may be non... Today, my friend... Told my friend today... Why could I not say words, Rowan? Told my friend today that I've been having feelings that I may be non-binary. Oh, that's awesome, Rowan! Congratulations, that's amazing! Oh, that's absolutely wonderful, Rowan. I think that's really, really wonderful. Congratulations. I hope it went well, and I hope your friend is wonderful, and I'm so glad that you came out. That's absolutely wonderful. Mwah. Love to you, Rowan. Apologies if I'm saying the wrong name, by the way, but sending you love. Thomas. Hi, Matilda. Good to see you. Thomas, how about the new Quantum Leap? I did a review of it, and if you're curious about my thoughts, I did a review on my other channel about the new Quantum Leap. It's okay. At least the first episode. There was nothing that I absolutely hated. And there are some choices in it that might be intriguing. Like, I like the fact that it's a sequel series. I like that there's this interesting mystery to the show. Like, about why the main character decided to Quantum Leap. It wasn't just like, he wanted to do it because it was interesting, like Sam Beckett in the first series. It was like there is a reason and a mystery behind that, which is a curious choice. And then... I could see it being good or bad, but the focus on the show having, like, more present-day characters than the original Quantum Leap had is also an interesting one. It could pay off. It could also be a distraction from the show's anthology storyline. Like, if the show wants to tell an anthology story every single week, it might be distracting to constantly have to tell present-day storylines with their characters as well, because it'll take away from, like, what made the original so good, which was, like, this mini-movie that could, like, change tones and stories every single week. So if you're constantly like, here's this individual story, but then we have to cut back and spend like 15 minutes of the episode focusing on the present day, I don't know if that's going to work so much, but it's an intriguing choice and I'm willing to give them a chance on it. That being said, I didn't find that the show had any character beyond network TV show. Like, it just didn't have like the original Quantum Leap had like a vibe and a feel that really came out of like the kind of like that opening credits theme song, like dun 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 dun, like that kind of like fun vibe, and the relationship between Sam and Al was so great. Scott Bakula and Dean Stockwell were a perfect pairing. And this show doesn't really seem to have that yet. It could get there, but it felt very flat network TV-ish. In a way that I was like, okay. So, long and short, there was nothing I hated in the Quantum Leap reboot. There are choices that I think were good. There were choices that I think could be good, but might be bad, end up being bad. But ultimately, I didn't find anything that really hooked me beyond it being a quantum... Like, if this show didn't say Quantum Leap on it, I'm not sure I'd be sticking around for it, but I'm willing to give it a little bit more because it is a Quantum Leap reboot. So I'll give it a chance. We'll see what happens. So... James Hodge, heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. Also, I just want to make sure Tiki Dragon. No, I can't remember what it was. It was a quick thought that I wanted to send. Now I can't recall. Oh, it's okay, Tiki Dragon. Well, I'm going to give you a heart anyways. Tiki Dragon, heart to you. You are lovely and amazing, and I send you all the love. Mwah. Send you love, my friend. James Hodge, heart to you. You said, oh yeah, this week I went to my first Trekkie meetup and it was great. The group is the USS Valiant and would greatly appreciate it. Yes, giving them a shout out. USS Valiant, hell yes. I've seen a bunch of like those fan groups that like are named after different like ships and stuff. That's amazing. I'm so glad you had a fun time, James Hodge. Shout out to the USS Valiant. Mwah. Sending love to all of you there. I'm so glad it was a fun time, and thank you so much for the super chat, James. I appreciate that. I mean, MPC 404. Who didn't love the chemistry between Bakula and Stockwell? Like, come on. It was some of the best chemistry on television was those two. Like, I absolutely amazed them. I absolutely love them. Why did I say amaze them? That was a weird sentence to say. Let's see. Hi, Jessie. Michelle, heart to you. You said we met briefly at Trans Pride Seattle. It was real unexpected. I was tabling for the transverse. Oh, that's right. It's good to meet you. Well, hello, my friend. It was great meeting you at Trans Pride Seattle. It was a good time. And also shout out to Gender Meowster, whose show I believe I'm going to be appearing on next month? Question mark? I need to double check. But Gender Meowster is a wonderful Twitch streamer who talks about trans issues and has trans guests on everything. So shout out to Gender Meowster and shout out to you, Michelle. It was so great meeting you. Thank you for saying hi. Sarah. Yeah, there was no heart to you, by the way, Sarah. There was no oh boy. He does say oh shit and then gets cut off at the end. Because I think they want to play with it. It'd be funny if, like, every episode he ends with, oh, shit. I'm sure they'll probably do, oh, boy, probably starting next episode, but I'm sure at the beginning of this one they didn't want to do it and they want to try something new. So I'm sure it'll be, well, I'm sure they'll play with it. We'll see how, we'll have to see how they go with it, but I would expect they'll probably do, oh, boy, but they didn't want to do it for the pilot just because they wanted to be like, we're different, sort of thing, and didn't want to, like, evoke nostalgia right out of the gate. Chloe, Heart to You says, can't wait for Chucky Season 2. A famous non-binary character is returning. Yeah, I remember they had, like, non-binary characters in the season, so I'm excited to see that. Though I need to watch Chucky. I've never seen any of those movies or the show. I've heard nothing but good things, though. Like that's a franchise that I know has ups and downs, but I've heard generally positive things about that franchise. And the show apparently is pretty good, too. So, yeah, I should check it out. It's one of those, that and, there are 3 horror franchises that I know I need to watch. And I've seen some of them, but I haven't seen all of them. Nightmare on Elm Street. I've seen the first Nightmare on Elm Street, but I have not seen all of it. So just the first one, I know that they get interesting as the series goes forward. I also, and this is the one that I might have the biggest shame saying, you all are welcome to shame me for this. I have not seen Hellraiser. Which is sad, because I know I would love it. Horny, like, fetish monster people, and the new one having a transgender woman, Jamie Clayton from Sense Frickin' 8, playing the role. Hell yes. I'm so here for Hellraiser. I just never have seen it. But I'm so here for it, so I feel you're welcome to shame me for that. And then Chucky. Chucky's like the other one that I know I need to, like, the other big horror franchise that I need to see. So those are like, I'm sure there's a couple other here and there, but those are like the big 3 that I've always been like, oh, I should really check those out. And I know I haven't. Hellraiser's the big one. Like, I need to watch my horny fetish monsters. I really need to. So. I know! You can shame me. You can shame me for having never seen Hellraiser. I promise. Let's see. Geek Filter, heart to you, making dinner and watching you on my big live stream TV. Hope you're doing well. Well, hello. I am on your big screen. Hello. To all of you watching on your TV, I hope I'm in your homes. This is the trans agenda. We have reached out through your television and are putting ourselves out there so you will all see us. We will control the narrative. No, I don't know what I'm doing anyways. It's just funny that I'm on your big screen TV. Hello, it's a big Jessie. I'm a big Jessie in the world. Making my way. Why does that come to my mind? Making my way downtown, walking fast, the pace is past. I'm oh man. I don't know why that was the thing. I'm like, I'm a big Jessie going out in the world. I'm sorry, everybody. I probably just got all that stuck in your head. Apologies to literally all of you for getting that stuck in your head again. And now I wonder if I could fall. Why is that in my brain? Why the hell is that song stuck in my brain right now? It's such a weird pull for my brain to just suddenly come up with. I apologize, everybody. My brain's just going off to places. Let's see. Aw, Cappuccino, I appreciate you. Heart to you. Sending you love, my friend. White Chicks, yeah, right? It is the certified bop. It is the certified bop. Let's see. Oh, yay, Em, I'm glad. Yes, get into Star Trek. One of us. One of us. One of us. One of us, Em. You're now an official Trekkie. I pronounce you official Trekkie. And I'm glad the guide was able to help you, but thank you for being a Trekkie, and thank you for being here. Mwah, you're lovely. Let's see. Mr. Krabs, heart to you. You said, hey, Jessie, hope you're having a great day. Also, me and my friend were talking about on why there should be more plus-size characters in media. 100%. Yes, there should be a lot more plus-size characters in all things, but especially in video games. You don't really see a lot of plus-size characters. The only time I can really think of like plus-size characters in games, besides them being like comedic relief, are when you can create your own character in a game where like you can make your character a plus size character, which isn't really representation. It's just ability to reflect yourself within the game. But it's not really representation as such. And then 2, Thor in God of War Ragnarok. Like, Thor is a plus size character in that game, and I love that choice. That's an amazing way to like depict Thor. I mean, we're used to today like Thor being thought of as like Chris Hemsworth, buff dude, like chisel abs, but like Thor's like a big dude, like a big like plus size dude, fit and can beat your head in with a hammer, but like a big dude. And there was a lot of people that like, oh, how dare Thor be fat? Because of a lot of the anti-fatness that's like baked into our society as that character. But I would love to see. I'm looking forward to see that Thor version of Thor in God of War Ragnarok. And having it from Team Fortress 2. I've never played Team Fortress 2, but hell yeah. I've always heard good things about it. But yeah, I've never really seen many more. I'm sure there's some, but none that like immediately come to mind especially where like fatness isn't tied to either comedic relief or like gluttonousness or villainy. Like you also have like the Duke in Resident Evil 8, who's like not a bad guy, but he's certainly seen to be greedy and gluttonous. And so that's equated with fatness, is like a thing. And sort of also fatness is seen as gross and monstrous in that game too. And so yeah, there's a lot of anti-fat biases, even if they are portrayed as like a neutral or positive character within the text of the narrative. So it's an interesting suggestion to have. Let's see. Oh, Monica Star. Let me go get I'll go get that. But let me answer this question, but I'll show you my Riker pillow. Monica, I have the Riker pillow and I love it. It's super comfy. I'll show it to you. Sam JB Hard 2, you said, "Hey Jessie, got here late. Good to see you. Is Andor worth watching? Worth a watch as not much of a Star Wars gal here." I talked about it earlier. I won't go too into it, but yes, 100%. What I will tell you, Sam, is at the beginning of this stream, if you like rewind to the beginning of the stream, I actually spent the first like 5-10 minutes ranting about how much I love Star Wars Andor. I don't think it might be a weird entry. Like if you've never seen any Star Wars, it's not the first Star Wars I would start you off on. I would start you off on episode 4, obviously. Or maybe not so obviously considering it's called episode 4 now. But I would start you off on episode 4. But if you've seen like all the movies, especially if you've seen Rogue One, I think Andor's like a decent place to go. I don't think you'd be wrong to go there if you haven't like been watching all the other shows. I think it's the best Disney Star Wars show that I've seen so far. Again, it could fall off the rails. It's only released 3 episodes, so maybe over the next rest of the season it'll fall flat on its face. But based on its first 3 episodes, I'm really impressed and I'm excited for it. And I ranted about why earlier in the stream, so I'll let you go there and you can hear that. But yes, I definitely think so. Let me go get the Riker pillow that Monica sent me because I actually want to show it off because it's amazing, and I want to show it really quickly. Also, you may get Newt coming in too. I actually have 2 pillows to show off. No riots! No riots, Tyler. Where did my headphones go? There they are. Alright. So, I'm going to show off 2 things. I'm going to end on Monica's because it's the coolest. But also, I just like, I found at Rose City Comic Con, I found this, which was fun. It's a Picard pillow. And he just looks like a fish. I don't know why. It's like a fish. It's like a fish Picard pillow. But my favorite part is just like his bald head. You get like Picard's bald head in the back. That's like adorable. So it's like a weird fish Picard head man. So that's just cute. But this is even better. This is like 10 times better than that pillow. That was just a cute little pillow that I found at RCC. But you sent me this. And it's amazing. Send it to my P.O. box and I appreciate it so much because this is a super comfy like pillow. It is like insanely comfy and I love the Riker. Look, it's my little sexual boy Riker. Look at him. Look at his little Rikery face. I feel turned on just by him being in my presence. But it's actually a really comfy pillow, and I've actually like curled up on. It's like on my couch, and I've curled up on it a bunch. So I absolutely adore it. So thank you very much, Monica, and I appreciate you sending me made. Like Newt also loves it, right, Newt? He has slept on it numerous times. I don't know if you can see him, but he's here. Hey, Newt, say hi. Yeah, he's being all. Come on. Yeah, you want to come up? Here, come up. But he loves it. He slept on this. Newt has slept on this this pillow a bunch of times. Come here, bud. Come on up. Say hi to everybody. Come here. Come on, my cat, be on my lap, and be a cat up here now. Why are you taking such a long dang time, and be a cat up here now? He's taking his time. Come on. Hey there. There you go. Come, there he is. Say hello to Newt, everybody. Oh, Rowan, you're he, him, his. Okay, they, them, he, him, they, them. Cool, perfect, good to know. Mwah. Thank you, Rowan. But here you are. Hey. Hi, bud. Well, Newt is here. Anyways, what else do we want to talk about? Let's see. It is a Newt. See, Newt, you're a star, bud. You're a star. Cult of Newt. I love that Newt's. Yeah, Gaeta's Lament. So the reason that it's Gaeta's Lament, I'm glad you called that out. Newt's song is Gaeta's Lament because I used to sing Gaeta's Lament because it was the only song I knew how to like sing well as a kid. After Battlestar Galactica, I just learned it. And then I've just like added lyrics to talk to Newt in. So yeah, no, yeah. Right? Newt's song is weirdly Gaeta's Lament. That's a weird like Battlestar Galactica offshoot thing that I've told. Don't ever tell Bear McCreary. Tell Bear McCreary that I sing to my cat in Gaeta's Lament. Let's see. Lower Decks Season 3, Episode 5 Reflections the best in the series. The heartfelt bond between Ransom and Boimler was great, and the Tuvix moment with the Rutherford merge was sublime. Also, Quantum QL is encouraging. Yeah, I agree. It's the best this season. I don't know if it's the best overall. I would probably still put that as Weege Dooge is one of my favorite episodes of Lower Decks. Followed probably by Crisis Point in the first season. Followed by an episode that's coming later this season that I won't spoil for you, but keep on the lookout for episode 8 of this season. Yeah, I wouldn't put it as my favorite, but it's definitely the best of the season so far. And definitely a really great one. I love this episode of Lower Decks. So. John Carpenter. Ooh. John Carpenter is doing something with Godzilla. Kurt Russell and his son got cast in the Apple TV show. Interesting. I would love a John Carpenter Godzilla movie. I mean, I would love just a John Carpenter anything. As long as John Carpenter's not working with a studio, whenever he's doing like his like random stuff, I love John Carpenter. One of the best directors out there. I don't love all of his movies, but like some of his movies are some of my favorites of all time. Like The Thing is one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. Escape from New York is great. I don't love Halloween, but I appreciate it. What else has John Carpenter done? He's done a bunch of stuff. Assault on Precinct 1, 2, 3 was also really great. Let's see. What else is he? He's done a bunch of things. I love John Carpenter. He's fantastic. He is fantastic. They Live. Also, ooh, great. Anti-capitalist masterpiece. They Live. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Yeah, The Thing is one of my favorite of all time. Oh, Adequate Emily, good to see you. I'm sorry. Hope you're doing well as well, Adequate Emily. Mwah, sending you love. Hopefully the quotes were good for you. Let me know if I ever need to resend those, but hell yeah. Miss Wicked, are you gonna watch Hocus Pocus? Am I gonna watch Hocus Pocus 2? What kind of question is that, Miss Wicked Wolf? I am ashamed that you even have to ask. I am offended. I am offended. Of course I'm watching Hocus Pocus 2. But yeah, no, of course. I'm very excited for Hocus Pocus 2, like very, very much. So, Miranda, I think you missed my earlier message. That's okay. I felt really good this week for the first time in a while. I'm glad. Miranda, heart to you. I'm so glad. Sending you love, Miranda. Sending you all the love. I know a few plus sides that are a media video game, like Ellie from... Ooh, yes, Ellie from Borderlands is also great. I love her. Love Ellie. She's fantastic. Big the Bundo from Kinnikuman 2011. I actually don't know that. And Hondo from Street Fighter I know as well. Hondo's also great. Budo, Big the Budo, I actually don't know. I don't know who that is. But Honda from Street Fighter is also great. I do know that. Hello, Munawar. Honestly, I know they're already shot and are making a Borderlands movie, but there are 3 properties that I'm like, if like non-Star Trek properties that I would love to make a movie out of at some point in my career if I ever get to make movies. And it's got to like, someone said, okay, you can only do franchise movies. 3 movies that I would love to make would be of random properties, a Borderlands movie. I have such a good idea for a Borderlands movie. Unfortunately, going to make a Borderlands movie, so that's not going to happen. But I would love to do a Borderlands movie just because those games are so queer and like just subversive and fun, and just also about like found family and building your own coalition to like fight back against corporations and things like that. Like, I love that message. So, and the fact that it is so queer. And like sex worker friendly too. Hell yeah. Like sex workers, like Moxie is sometimes a little bit of a joke, but like generally it's positive towards sex work, which is great as a series. So yeah, hell yeah, I'm all about Borderlands as a series, and I would love to make it. I would also love to make a Dragonlance movie. Like I would love the hell to make a Dragonlance miniseries, actually, is what I would love to do. But if I had to make a movie, I would love to make a Dragonlance movie so badly, just so I could have someone play Raceland. I would love the crap out of someone being able to play Raceland so badly. Oh my god, I want to cast Raceland. I just want to see Raceland on screen really bad. And then third one, this is a random one, but Foxtrot, which is an oldish comic strip that I used to read a bunch when I was a kid, because it was the first like comic strip, like Sunday comic strip that I used to read that had like a bunch of nerd jokes in it, and I love the crap out of it. The movie would end up be like a broad family comedy probably that I think would be kind of fun. It wouldn't be like my masterpiece of a film, but I think it would have fun making a Foxtrot movie. I think you could do something fun with that. But again, it would just be like, it wouldn't be like Foxtrot shall be my masterpiece. That's like the movie I'm like, I want to have fun making just a nice little fun family film. Would be that sort of movie. Is Foxtrot being made? I don't know. I know it switched to just Sundays only. Like it stopped being weekly like years and years ago, and then it became like a Sunday only comic where it only released comics on Sunday. So also, everyone say goodbye to Newt. I think he left. So if Jessie went in the Quantum Leap Accelerator, she had to put her hair in a bun first, otherwise it would whip everywhere. Just da da da. You just like that shot of like me in the suit, like going like this in the blue suit, and just like my hair just whipping everywhere. Be hilarious. I'd love that. Did you see the Pinocchio remake? No, I haven't. I haven't seen the Pinocchio remake. Heard bad things, obviously, but I mean, I don't really expect too much from Pinocchio, or like Disney remakes in general. They're always like flat, boring kind of films generally. Like, if anyone was here expecting greatness from the Pinocchio live action remake, I'm sorry for you. Like, not sorry for you is the wrong way to put it. I don't want to sound condescending. I'm sorry is just probably the best way to put it. Like, has there been a good live action Disney remake? Aladdin was probably the most interesting of them, and even that one wasn't fantastic. And they made Jafar really boring. I don't think there's any other ones that were like intriguing. The side quills have been okay. Like, Maleficent had decent points. It is not a good movie, but I loved Cruella. It's trash, but it's fun trash. Like, Cruella is a fun trash movie. But that's not really a remake. It's like its own thing. It's like a prequel sort of thing. Like, Cruella, not a good movie. Not a good movie. Believe me. It is fun, though. I watched it and enjoyed the crap out of it for how just trashy fun it is. It's a messy, sloppy movie, and I'm here for it. Cinderella, I haven't. That's actually one I haven't seen. I haven't seen Cinderella. I've seen a bunch of the other ones. I've seen Lion King, Aladdin, Lady and the Tramp I saw. There's a few other ones too. Jungle Book. God, I had to watch Jungle Book like 100 times because of I was working at a company at the time where I like put videos files up to iTunes, and at the time it was when Jungle Book was coming out, so I had to watch like every version of Jungle Book, like all the dubbed versions, all the subtitled versions. So I I saw Jungle Book a lot. A lot. Ooh, a Treasure Planet. Like, they probably would never fund a Treasure Planet live action movie because I think that movie, like, failed to make any sort of money. But I would love the crap out of it. Like, I love, like, Treasure Planet's a great, it's not a perfect movie, but I love it just visually and conceptually, and it's a lot of fun. Like, that and, Atlantis, The Lost Empire. Also a fun movie. Atlantis, The Lost Empire has problematic intentions to it. Not intentions. Elements to it. Like the sort of like people coming to an indigenous tribe and like teaching them how to fight back against the whatever, like sort of white savior sort of stuff to it. But I also think it does have like a cool found family like message. There's some cool surprises in it. I love Atlantis. I think it's a really, really fun movie. Both the Treasure Planet Atlantis. I say I like Atlantis a lot more, just as a film. If someone had to like pitch me a concept, I probably like Treasure Planet a lot more. But I think Atlantis on its own is a stronger movie. So. Hi, Newt. Is Newt back? Hi, buddy. Newt's back. Hello, bud. How you doing? You just gonna hang out there? Yeah? Do you wanna come up here? Yeah? Is that what's gonna happen? No? What do you want? What do you want, bud? Or are you gonna bite my hand? Yeah, he's gonna bite my hand. Yeah, you are. Who's a good boy? Yeah, you bite my hand like a good boy. Lilo and Stitch is good. Ooh, yeah, Lilo and Stitch is great. Waiting for Newt to talk back to you. One day. Jasmine! Heart to you. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Mwah, mwah. Sending you love, Jasmine. Aw. Yeah, Newt's here. He's in a mood where, like, he's bitey. He's bitey, right? I don't know if you can see him, but he just bit my hand. Not angrily. I think he just wants my attention. Yeah, you're in a mood. Yeah, you are. Yeah, see, I don't know if you saw that. You're in a playful mood, aren't you, bud? Yeah? Let's see if I can get him to jump up. Come on. Do you want it? No? You're just going to hang out there? Boop. Oh, there it is. Whoop. Okay, I should probably not teach him to bite my fingers. Anyways, Newt's just hanging out. Hopefully he doesn't come and attack my elbow. He sometimes does that when he wants. I think he just wants food, so as soon as the stream's over, I'm going to go feed him. So is it dinner time, bud? Yeah, that's what he wants. He just wants to get my attention for dinner. Abigail's Play the Prince between 4 and 5 stars. Oh, that's great. I'm looking forward to seeing Abigail Thorne's The Prince. I know Nebula is recording it kind of Hamilton style and going to put it up on Nebula, so I'm excited to see it. I wish it was in London to be able to go watch it. I would love to see Abigail Thorne of Philosophy Tubes play The Prince, but I'm glad that I will get to see it in some point. So yeah, that's awesome. That's amazing. Heart to you, John Vittles. Thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. Mwah, mwah, mwah. You said, my one big live action remake idea for Disney are The Black Cauldron. Ooh. For a closer adaptation of the pre-Dane stories and Hunchback of Notre Dame, if only to put actual Romana people in the cast and the crew. That would be great. If I did that, I hope they would update the place of Romani people in Hunchback of Notre Dame, so it's not just like the same place, like the side characters and like the damsels in distress to be saved. But I do really love I love those scenes in Hunchback of Notre Dame. Probably my favorite scenes. Like the jester character is great and love him. We stan him here. Black Cauldron would also be an interesting one too. Like very, very interesting one. I would be curious to see that one. Though I worry if Disney did a live-action remake of that, like, the visuals of the Black Cauldron are so distinctive and powerful that I worry that, like, if they did it as, like, a straight adaptation, the visuals would kind of be tamed down. But I'd be intrigued by it. It'd be an interesting choice, but I don't necessarily trust them to do it right. It's Disney. Tiki Dragon, heart to you. Thank you again for the super chat. You said, have you listened to Hadestown? No, I haven't. That's one that I've missed, and I'm sorry for it. I need to watch Hadestown and listen to Hadestown. That's, again, I've never been the biggest musical fan, so that's one that I've just missed. I've, like, listened to, like, the big one, and I know Hadestown is a big one, but that one's, like, Hades, right? Am I correct in that Hadestown is the musical, right? I'm not crazy about that, right? Yeah, musical. Okay, yeah, I wasn't making that up. So, yeah, no, it's not one that I've seen, unfortunately. Hey, look, Mansion Gaming. Good to see you. Justice's character is a fabulous queen. Yeah, I love Justice's character in Notre Dame. Hi, Big Oli. Heart to you. Welcome to your first stream. Mwah. Sending you love, my friend. Let's see. Anything else? Ooh. I got about 5 more minutes before I wrap up, and I'm gonna go have dinner. So Rent. Oh, I mean, I saw Rent. Rent was an interesting one for me. ZRYXIX, especially. I think for all of us, is an interesting one because I remember as a kid before I was out as trans and bisexual. I had a teacher who he wasn't out either, at least not to the school. I'm sure he was out elsewhere. But I forget if he identified as gay or bisexual, but definitely not a straight man. And I think he knew that I was definitely some form of queer because he's like, you should watch Rent. And I'm like, why? He's like, I just think you would like it. And I went and watched it. I'm like, oh, I mean, it's a problematic movie, but it was the first time I got to like see a mainstream-esque like LGBTQ like movie. And I was like, oh, I have feelings. There are feelings happening here. And I remember going back to him and being like, yeah, it was great. It was great music and messages. And he's like, yeah, great music and messages. And I'm like, yeah, great music and messages. That teacher was also that same teacher actually was the one who cast me as a woman in our high school musical. We did Bye Bye Birdie, and I played the main character's mother in Bye Bye Birdie. And it was done for comedy. Like, I cross-dressed for comedy, but I think, looking back on it, I think he knew some things. I think he understood me better than I understood myself at that point. That's an interesting sort of, like, look back. I haven't really thought about him in a long time because I haven't really seen him, but, interesting teacher. He was very good. He was very good. Especially since he wasn't even my teacher. He was the chorus teacher. I was in band, and so we had a band teacher and a chorus teacher, and they hung out a bunch, but I wasn't in chorus. So, good guy. Very good guy. Ronok of the Rain Lords. An Elder Scrolls show would be wacky if handled correctly. Yeah, they could do something fun with an Elder Scrolls show. I don't know what you would make it, though. I feel like if you did an Elder Scrolls show, like the impulse of like studios, like if like Amazon was making an Elder Scrolls show. Is there an Elder Scrolls show coming out? I think there's a Fallout one, but not an Elder Scrolls TV show. Because I feel like if you were going to make an Elder Scrolls show, they would probably be like, oh, make it Skyrim because that's the one that sold the best. But I could also see them being like, my studio brain would be like, oh, make it like the Oblivion storyline where it's about kings and queens and like the very stereotypical fantasy setting. I love Oblivion, but that story is very like stereotypical fantasy setting. But I feel like they would probably want to base it off of Skyrim, so then you'd have like the Nordic, like the Nords like push against the Empire, which could also make its own interesting story. I would love to make it just weird. Like do a what's the chaos god that you get to see in the DLC of Elder Scrolls Oblivion? I forget what his name is, but there's the chaos god. That would be interesting. Or Morrowind. Morrowind would also be the other one, like a Morrowind based Sheogorath. Thank you, Lewis. Like I would love to do a Sheogorath series. That would be what I would do. Sadly, they probably like he'd be like a character in an episode if you would like pitched it to a studio. Morrowind would be fun though. You could do some like swampy, messy TV show. I'd love the crap out of that. That would be like if I was going to pitch one of like a Morrowind or an Elder Scrolls show to do, and like had to sort of like pitch it to a studio, I would probably go with Morrowind because that would be the one I'd be most interested in. It would not be the one I would love to do a Sheogorath one. Like that would be the show I would love to do. But Morrowind would be the most interesting to me. Because, like, you could do something interesting with Skyrim. You could do something interesting with the story of Oblivion. But I feel like the most interesting and unique one to me would be the Morrowind one. That would be my story. That would be the one that I would like. Missed a couple super chats, I think. Hearts here. Also, I didn't really want live action Owl House until it was done. Ooh, Guillermo del Toro doing live action Owl House would be great. He'd be a great fit for that. Like a live action Owl House show directed by or movie directed by Guillermo del Toro. Mwah. Though to be fair, anything by Guillermo del Toro I'm here for. Still pissed he didn't do The Hobbit. Would have loved that. Would have like Like, don't get me wrong, I actually have a soft spot for the Hobbit movies as they are, but I would have much preferred Del Toro's. Even if they were bad, I would have probably preferred Del Toro's. Again, that's someone who probably has a bit more of a positive place for the Hobbit movies than others do, in my heart. But yeah, no, yeah. Let's see. I'm still praying. Oh, they're not doing another Dark Crystal show, sadly, Nick and Chris. They announced that they were doing that ages ago. Not doing that ages ago, unfortunately. It's sad though, because the Dark Crystal show was amazing, and I would have loved the crap out of a season 2 of that. Getting to see more of my Skeksis friends. Like, in fact, I don't know if you can see it up on the wall up there. You can kind of see it. This photo right here. Let's see. I'm trying to get angle my. Let's see. That photo, the one that my finger's pointing at right there. That's a Dark Crystal poster right there. Sadly, I can't really bring the camera over enough to really see it that well. Let's see. But that right there, that's a Dark Crystal. My fingers don't extend that way. But yeah, that's a Dark Crystal poster up there. Along with a Deep Space Nine one up there too. There's one of those is Deep Space Nine. But yeah, no. Did you talk about the Michael J. Straczynski Babylon 5 tweet this week? I didn't talk about it, but I'm here for it. I mean, here's my thing with the Babylon 5 reboot that's out there. I'm going to end on this note because it'll be my last thing because I'm going to go get some dinner. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio movie, I'm way more interested in than the Disney version. Like, I'm here for Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio film that's coming to Netflix. Like, hell yes. What was I just talking? Babylon 5. I'll end on this note, and then I'll wrap out the stream. I am curious about what that Babylon 5 reboot is going to be, because Vera and I actually talked about this in the podcast. If you don't know, I have a Babylon 5 podcast with the wonderful Vera Wild of Council of Geeks, where we go through every single episode of that show. But there's 2 projects going on with Babylon 5 right now. Michael J. Straczynski just announced that the original cast of Babylon 5 who are still alive just did a project that filmed, he hasn't even announced what it was, whether it be an audio podcast or I don't know what it is. But they filmed and made that, and it's coming out next year. So there's still this ongoing continuation of the Babylon 5 world as it is, but then he also wants to do a reboot for the CW. And I'm here for both of those projects, but I am just confused about what a Babylon 5 reboot would be from J. Michael Straczynski. Going back and looking at Babylon 5 as it is, like I've been watching week to week, it's definitely problems. Like, there are issues with that show. It didn't it didn't age perfectly, let me put it that way. Like, Garibaldi being a cop and the show not being critical of him as a cop character did not age really, really well. If you go and watch the show and listen to our podcast, we have many things to say about Garibaldi. We don't hate him as a character, but he's definitely a cop. But that being said, it holds up better than a lot of other shows. And some of its messages are really resonant today. Super resonant today. So it's one of those things where it's like, if you're J. Michael Straczynski and you want to reboot Babylon 5, it's like, well, the reason that the same creator would go back to a Babylon 5 and remake is if you want to fix something or do something better than you did before. And again, while there are things to fix, I don't think it's not such a badly aged show that I think he really needs to fix it. You know what I mean? What I would be much more interested in for J. Michael Straczynski for Babylon 5 is if J. Michael Straczynski did like he already is doing more Babylon 5 things set in the universe that we already have established. But someone else did a Babylon 5 reboot. Give it to a Ron Moore-esque person who could take the Babylon 5 concept and do something new with it, just like Ronald D. Moore did with Battlestar Galactica. Ronald D. Moore came in and rebooted Battlestar Galactica and took the concept and did something really, really new with it. And I think you could do that with Babylon 5. I think you could do something take the concept of Babylon 5 and do something slightly tweaking it or build upon it or say something more modern with it. And I'm not saying that J. Michael Straczynski can't do that. He certainly could. He's a strong enough writer that I'm certainly I'm not here being wow, what a terrible person to write the Babylon 5 reboot. I'm sure he could do something. I'm sure he can. And if it gets made, he will make a really good Babylon 5 reboot that's for modern day. I certainly think he can. But I would be more, I think it'd probably be, I don't think a J. Michael Straczynski Babylon 5 reboot will be bad. I would prefer a Babylon 5 reboot from another creator just because I would like to see someone new getting to play with that concept. That would be my pitch for it. But that being said, I'm still here for a Babylon 5 reboot from J. Michael Straczynski. I'm not against it. I'm still like 100% down for it. But it's not the one that I'm like, that's the version of a reboot that I'm clamoring for. You know? That's my sort of take. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap out on these 2 super chats that I just got, and then I'm gonna end it up. Heart to you, and thank you, Knit and Crochet Tiger. I appreciate you out. I appreciate you is what I meant to say. Appreciate you out. What does appreciate you out mean? I don't know what that means. I appreciate you is what I meant to say, Knit and Crochet Tiger. Hey, Jedi Indiana Jones. Mwah, mwah. I haven't seen you in a little bit. Mwah. I'm sending you love. Everyone send some love to Jedi Indiana Jones. Adore you. All right, just quick 2 things. Darth Malagus, heart to you. Thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. And then I got a super chat from John Vinnels again. He said, heart to you. Big thing in favor of Del Toro's Owl House is that the Owl House has a lot of genuinely sad or scary parts that need to be handled sincerely with, while Joe Dante is very sarcastic and slapsticky. Yeah, I'm just in favor of Del Toro doing everything is really my angle on that, John. Like, I'm always here for Del Toro. Like, he's one of my favorite directors of all time, hands down. Like, if not in the top 5, definitely in the top 10 of my favorite directors. He probably would make top 5 if I sat down and thought about it. But definitely not, definitely in the top 10. Probably top 5, but definitely top 10. Anyways, people, I'm going to send you all love. Heart to you, my friends. Oh, Miranda, you are amazing, and I really appreciate you. Thank you so much, Miranda. Notes. No video tomorrow. I should say this. I'm working on Matt Walsh Part 2. I have seen because I'm working with an editor on it, I saw a cut yesterday of it. I am very pleased with this video. The problem is that Matt Walsh keeps doing terrible things, so I need to keep adding to the video a little bit, and at some point I'm going to have to let it go. But I just want to make sure that this video is done right and really just goes over everything that I find harmful about What is a Woman and Matt Walsh specifically. So that video is going to be coming out. My aim is to have that video out next Friday. It might get pushed a week just because it's going to be a big video. Like, big video. Expect, like, closer to Sex and Star Trek, The Next Generation level stuff. In terms of, like, things going on and stuff that I'm doing in it. That being the case, it might be pushed a week just because of that. Just because if I'm going to go after Matt Walsh, I want to, like, go after Matt Walsh, especially with all the terrible stuff that he's doing. So I just put that out there that it's either going to be next week or the week after that the Matt Walsh video is coming. If it's not next week, I'll have something else go up. I'm also writing a House of the Dragon video because I have some thoughts on House of the Dragon. Not negative fully, but like an interesting discussion on House of the Dragon. So that'll be coming too. And then my next big video that I'm working on is Sex and Star Trek Deep Space Nine. So that's also in the works. So a lot of stuff coming, but we will have some fun along the way. So nothing tomorrow, but Saturday I will see you all. Hopefully, I plan on doing a stream Saturday night. We'll see if that pans out, but I will hopefully see you all Saturday. Otherwise, heart to you, my friends. Mwah. Sending you all love, and I wish you all a good night, my friends.